if I'm live now. So if you go to my page and now share, both of y'all share my page to your people. And it should work great.
Yeah, that's what it did last time when you interviewed me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to try to fix this a little bit, fix our screen so we're taking up more of the screen.
Yeah.
There we go. Like that view you prefer? I think that one's better.
Yeah. So what are people able to see? This one or that screen?
Depending on what they're on. Just trying a different.
You got the music. All right, let's see if we can get our people back in here with us. Let's make it do what it do. Everything good on y'all end?
Yeah, everything's good. Can't complain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it matters.
Mm-hmm. Can
Come on in, family. We're trying to finally get this going.
We'll go. Shout out to Chef Dennis. He in here.
Hey, Chef
What up,
Dennis.
Chef? Yeah, I'll tell you, come again. Ronnie got a musical video going over here.
Who, me? Yeah, I was just trying to figure out a better view. With two people.
I
I don't
see it
usually have
going
two people
close
in
and
there.
far.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was just
okay.
saying which one's better. No, I'm used to being in a picture by myself, not having my beautiful wife with me. You on
Oh,
high, I'm on
man, you
low.
can't beat that. You can't beat that.
Yeah, good conversations. I'm about to
Hey, I'm gonna pour something.
y'all high in her seat. Am I? Get my seat up. There we go. I want to sit high too.
All right. Well, praise the Lord, we in here. We're getting our people tagged back in, and we're gonna go ahead and just rock out.
Yes, sir.
Go. Let's see who we got coming in.
Which what is he? What Chef talking about?
Oh, I don't know. Chef be on his own thing sometimes.
Oh, he say. All right, man. So we're gonna start off real talk with the formers. We're doing it from different platforms, from that mentality. But man, one thing about God has taught me to press.
Don't tell me we about to
I
have
thank
more.
Rodney for saying let's go this way. It popped in my mind, but I was trying to make sure Facebook would work. It just kept blinking. It didn't want to let the brother in.
Not at all.
All right, so where we at? I mean, y'all love this great song.
Hey.
Talking about life, we are hanging out with the promise. Come along, yes, they encourage us. We are hanging out with the promise. And now it's time for a real talk.
Man, hey Rod, did you know that was Kevin and his wife?
Yeah, he told me when he was on the show.
Yeah, be blowing, man. He doing his thing.
Hey, if y'all got any open other screens, on your computer, you might want to take them down because it's slowing y'all down a little bit.
On our it's a lot of screens on.
That's what I'm saying. You got to close the other screens in the computer.
You have to close all them.
Oh,
He told me.
okay.
Now some of that's work stuff. You gonna be able to get to it.
Yeah.
Hold up, my wife got a lot of stuff open on projects we be doing open.
Yeah, because y'all are blurry right now because there's so much stuff open. There you go. Now your computer's keeping up. You're starting to get clear.
We
Got a
working
lot
out.
of
We
work.
looking clear now. But anyway, man, I think this topic is a powerful topic, and I talked about it because you said something referring to this when we were on either Kevin interview or mine, but we going horizontal in this mode. What happened?
That's y'all. I don't know what's going on with
Who
that.
did that?
I ain't do that.
I don't. Well, we ain't touched nothing. Ain't we through your string yard?
Yeah, but that's your camera that
How
went
do?
that way. It did it when y'all
Jesus,
was
this is
messing
gonna
with
be
some stuff
okay.
too.
I just closed the screens. That's it.
Um,
Yeah, that part. Okay.
I have
Tilt the
no
camera
clue.
again. I
Yeah.
don't know
But
why
let's
it's
see what
doing that. I
happens.
have no clue.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, boy, it
Let's
ain't
try
it ain't
this.
get there we go.
There, yes.
Let's try this again now. We're gonna try it again. So yeah, we were talking about how me and Rodney both have some past that a lot of things had to be changed, man, and we kind of gave some glory to our wives for being who they are. So man, even though we're on your channel, or your stream, I would like for our people that's watching, just tell us a little bit about the Glovers. Tell us, individually who you are and anything else you want to share so we can open it on up.
All right. Well, about us, I'll get a start. I'll just say we've been married. We've been married 25 years. We were dating 5 years before we got married. We are high school sweethearts. Um,
Oh, wow.
we have 3 children. One is in the Air Force. The other one is in college, and the youngest is our 11-year-old who has
Oh,
been to
okay.
the
Mm-hmm.
Junior Olympics 3 times. So we're proud of all our children.
Wow.
They're
Wow.
all doing exceptional things on their own. Us, um, I don't know what you got, baby. What you got about us?
What you want to know?
Yeah, we waiting on her too.
Well, I grew up as a PK. I don't know if that's good or bad in some
Okay.
people's eyes, but
Yeah.
attended church all my life. But I like that bad boy, that bad boy. And so Rodney was that bad boy for
All right.
me.
All
Yeah,
right.
but
Okay.
yeah, we have 3 beautiful children, and we have a dog. God has really seen us through the peaks and the valleys of our relationship, and yeah, we're just in a place
Uh-huh.
where
Uh-huh.
we're enjoying His glory.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a
Okay.
blessing.
So when you
No,
say
but
you like that bad boy, who? Go ahead.
nah, you go ahead. Go ahead and ask your question.
I say so. So Victoria, you said when you like that bad boy, who was Rodney? That did he
He
fit
was a
what
bad
you liked at
boy.
that moment?
He was a
How
bad boy.
so?
He was a little rough around the edges, but he was sweet in his heart, and he was kind. He was like a big teddy bear. He gave off that rough exterior, but underneath, when you got closer to him, you could see that he was very caring, very compassionate, and very loving.
Okay.
Mm,
Okay.
okay.
So what drawed you to him?
I was 15. It
Tell
was
us.
those. It was that like those khaki pants and the football jersey.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was the captain. I was the captain of football. I was the captain on the football team. She was the captain on the Palm squad.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you. You can tell. I can tell my version. I
And then
don't
I'll
know.
tell my version.
Well, let's
But
go then.
nah,
Yeah.
Get to us
but
raw
nah.
then.
So when me and Vicky met, I was in a time of my life where I was tired. I've told my story in my show. My father died when I was 11, and I spent the next from 11 to I say about 18. I spent that time trying to get my father to come back, not understanding that he had passed away and was never coming back. I started playing football because my dad liked football. I started, before my father passed away. I'm gonna say that I was a good kid. When he passed away, I got lost and got lost very quickly. Unfortunately, my dad was a great man who the whole family got lost. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just me. He died suddenly. We weren't prepared for it. He went to work and had a heart attack, and then he worked for Pepco. He fell off the pole and passed away.
Wow.
So it was suddenly, and it crushed the whole family. And unfortunately, I had older brothers, but I was the youngest. And in that whole mix, I got lost. And I seek the streets. You know what I'm saying? I went looking for it. I could beg for it, went out there, went for the streets. And my mom did have me in church, but during that time, my mom had so she had lupus. But this was back when lupus wasn't really diagnosed well, and they just thought my mother was making that stuff up. So she was in the hospital. I was left to my own self and my own devices with two older brothers who did their best, but they had their own addictions and drug problems and things like that, and I went crazy. So from about 11 until 17, I ran the streets. I did anything you can think. I did it. You know what I'm saying? And when it came to the point I got 17, I was tired. I was tired of running the streets. I was tired of basically manipulating women. I was tired of, and even for my young age, it was just something that I was doing a lot of different crazy things. And when I met Vicky, it was just the right time. It was the right time for me, and it was so simple as her being and I talk about it. Of course, it was her palm skirt, but it was the one time that I was standing out in the cold, and she came and brought me hot chocolate and gave me hot chocolate, and it was that simple act. It was that simple act that made me like I really knew that she was the one right then. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like definitely something. It was something that I was begging for. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted. I don't know. I just wanted somebody who was going to love me. So, at that time I was tired, and when I met her, it was just the perfect time where I was like, you know what? I'm done with all of this. You know what I'm saying? I'm done with running in the streets, doing this crazy stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. I still dibbled and dabbled a little bit, not with women, but, in the streets with my boys doing crazy stuff. But but for the most part, I knew she was the one and really helped me. I got my grades up. I went from a 2.0 student to a 3.5. And when we started this topic, I wanted to say that love saved me more than one.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I then went to 3.5. I ended up going to college for a short time because I did act out in college too, but I had a great time. But I knew that she was the woman I wanted to be with, and I never played around with that. You know what I'm saying? So I did hide a lot of stuff from her that she found out in later years. Like hide a lot of things I did. Like I ran with my crew. We stole. We sold drugs. We did all that kind of stuff. I heard a lot of that from her. That she didn't know that she knew that I had boys, but she didn't know the stuff that we were into. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, but yeah, just to make the long story short, it was just great timing for me. I was tired of running the streets, and when I just met her, I mean, it was just like I just knew. I don't know why, but I just knew. So, I probably had
Okay,
I
so
had to talk
Victoria,
her
we want
into.
to hear your side now.
Okay. So from my side, I think for me, we have a mutual friend. We actually went to middle school or elementary school together, and we have a mutual friend. Our mutual friend was actually dating him at the time, and she was like, "Keep an eye on him." And I was like, "Okay, cool." We used to, bypassed each other when we were younger or whatever. And I did, I kind of kept my eye on him. But his grandmother had passed away. And so I was like, I knew that they had a good relationship, our mutual friend and then the grandmother. And so I thought that my friend wanted to go to the funeral. And so I was like, "Can I get your number?" I was like, can I get your number? And he gave me his number. He gave me his number. I didn't give it to my friend. I kept it for myself. But I told her about, the funeral or whatever. But before we started dating, yes. Um, he was the captain. I was the pom pom captain as well. And I grew up in church. I was like, when he was in the streets, I was at church. I grew up, I was at Monday night prayer meeting. I was at Wednesday night Bible study. I was at Sunday all day, from Sunday school all the way down to the afternoon services. I've seen, demons manifest and gone
Yeah.
to travel and doing a whole bunch of other different things, traveling with the church. And so, like, I found him exciting. I found him a little bit exciting. And I think because, fast forward, once we found out a lot about each other, we did have a lot of similarities. And so, yeah, we just kind of gravitated towards them. When he asked me, I saw him standing out in the cold, and he didn't have no jacket or anything. And so I was like, "You want some hot chocolate or whatever?" And yeah, from then, like, we would see each other in the hallways and wave. And then he gave me his number, and it just was like, um, it was just gone from there, 25 years, 30 years later, here we are.
Sheesh.
Wow.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, that is something that has to I want to say definitely it's a thing of God, but I also know, not to say nothing against Charles, but I keep 100. There's a lot of relationships that last that long, but we find out they be married roommates. We find out they stay together for the kids, that they're not organically still in love. But I want to come deeper on that. But I do know a lot of church girls like bad boys. And you said it, look, man, he was interesting. I'm tired of I need something outside of just church. You find that I've been told that before. Believe me, I understand. But I like how that's some longevity for sure.
Yeah.
So in between
Now,
there, was
now
there a
don't get me
time that either
wrong.
one of you go ahead?
I will say, now don't get me wrong. There were still characteristics that he had to line up with, but I
Yeah.
found him really, really interesting. There were certain heart,
So what was
things
those
of the heart.
characteristics?
He had to
What were the
definitely be
characteristics?
family oriented. I wanted the person that I was gonna, spend my time with to love his family, and the way that he treated his mom, be opened. And because the type of person, I'm a very unique type of person. I love things off the scale sometimes, very colorful, and just to be
Okay.
open to those things. And so I wanted someone that was going to be okay with me being somewhat of a nerd, like a nerd, or colorful. Um, and so, I found that what?
I ain't say nothing.
I found that he was cool with that. He was okay with that. Um, So
I was her biggest supporter. I don't care what she say.
He was.
Even through high school, I went to every Palm Squad competition. I was there. I was their security when things went wrong. I made sure, and like all the Palm Squad girls called me Big Bro. You know what I'm saying? Like they knew if I was around, everything was good. You know what I'm saying? And that security was.
And even now, when I do my yoga practice, Rodney is there supporting me, being the security there, stretching in those positions that may have him aching that night. But yes, he's still my biggest supporter.
And that was.
So what did your family say about him?
Oh, they did not like him. No,
that's what I want to talk about.
Not at all. They did not like him at all. Because they already had someone in, visualizing someone that they wanted me to be with. And, most cases, their, children are not going to be with who you envision as a parent. And so meeting Rodney for the first time, they were like, what's your intentions with my daughter? What are you planning to do for, you're in the 12th grade. What are you planning on doing? Right, exactly. What is your relationship with your mom and X, Y, and Z? And what is your childhood? And so when they began to talk, my father's childhood and my boyfriend's childhood lined up. Their childhood lined up. It was so similar that it was like just what is happening. And so when I met his mother left me right away.
Yeah. My mother loved her. Yeah. Yeah, but it was for Christmas my mother bought her a ring holder, giving me a hint. You know what I'm saying? So it was
That's funny.
It's on one side though, not both sides, huh?
But in the long run of things, me and her father still fight, still argue the same, even as we did back then. But it's still,
now it's love.
Yeah,
now it's love.
It's definitely love. So,
so do you think that his apprehensions was because he knew you were like him or had a past like him?
Nah, Vicky thinks my past was like it. My past was like him as far as but we were not the same.
No. Y'all were not the same, but they're I don't want to say upbringing, but certain aspects of their childhood were the same.
Yeah, but the biggest thing about her dad is a huge family guy, and he'll take care of his family. Family is huge to me. I have a great relationship with everyone in my family. Even when we fight, there's still between me and them. We talk. It's not something that lasts long, no matter where it is in my family. We believe in that, and I believe in that. And so it's some things that the core values between us have always aligned up. You know what I'm saying? So taking care of our kids, having this. Fast forward when Vicky did get pregnant, like you did it by yourself. I'm sorry. When we got pregnant with the first child, I told her that there'll never be a day. I told her that there'll never be a day that I'm visiting my children. And two, that I'm gonna be here from now on. Like we're together forever. So, and even though we have had difficulties in every marriage, you're going to have difficulties. But the D word was never mentioned, never brought up. You know what I'm saying? We just had to work through it.
I know I wasn't going home to mommy and daddy, so we got to figure it out. It's us,
Right. So I'm gonna ask you this: with the aspect of you being saved, when you met him, and I know you were young, but was there a time that you said, "God, is this the one for me?"
Of course. I think that being young and meeting him and having my list of things that I looked for in a person. Number one, we got pregnant early. So
early.
I mean, it was early, not too early. Okay, let me back up. In college, when I was in college, we got pregnant, and so like that was a pivotal point in our relationship. Knowing that number one, I had fornicated. Number two, that we were having a child, and number three, I was going to have to tell my parents. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so at that point, I was like literally seeking God about, what should I do? Because I've always grown up in the church. And if you're supposed to marry that person, but I didn't want to be a statistic, one. And I didn't want to marry him just because I got pregnant. I was that one. I didn't want to marry him because I got pregnant. I wanted to marry him because I really wanted to walk through life with him. And so
Right.
and so I just didn't want that to be an excuse. And then later on be bitter and hateful towards them because of that decision. And so I really had to look at where we were at that time period, what I wanted, and did he meet those certain qualifications? And we were going to raise a baby together, so we were going to be in each other's lives. And so deciding to stay with him, I knew that there were some things that we were both kids. And so we would have to mature very, very quickly. We just committed that to God. We both committed that to God. We said, okay, we both are believers, and we are here. We're here and now. We did not want to end the pregnancy or terminate the pregnancy because we did not feel like that was a decision that we wanted to make. And then we said, okay, then we need to commit it to God. And so we both committed, the relationship and being parents to God. And we said, okay, with God, the word said, with God, we can do anything. If we put him first, we can do anything. And so at 20 and 22, we trusted God that he would direct our paths as parents. With that being said, a year into being parents, our child had epilepsy, or he was having seizures. And we had no prior experience with dealing with that. And so again, we had to trust God. It tested our relationship. It really tested our relationship because we were again, so young and vulnerable. So we thought that life together was going to be bliss. But as soon as we turned around, real life hit us smack in the face. And we really had to lean on God to carry us through that time period. And we had a village, praying for our child, praying for us. We both made sacrifices because, it could have completely consumed us as people. But even through that time period, we worked together as a unit. When I was down, he was up. When he was down, I was up. We made it work and made it happen. And now our oldest son is in the military. And so again, and he's a great son. So yeah, like challenges will hit you when you decide that you're going to stand on the word of God. And it's not going to be easy all the time. You have to be prepared for what's, going to hit you. And, you might have to grit and, dig deep and go through that thing. But if you say you're going to stand on God's word, stand on his word, no matter what. Don't allow it to sway you in any direction. I'm sorry, I went on a tangent.
No, you good.
So my question is with that, you're the one in the church. Rodney wasn't. When did it start being that y'all are equally in the say of going to church together? You're seeing him pray. You're seeing the man of God start growing before your eyes. When did that start?
So I did have a church background. My mom did take me to church a lot. You know what I'm saying? But once my dad passed away, I went on my own. I still went to church, even though I was like what's crazy is my pastor was my youth pastor is still my pastor now. And he talks about the fact that I used to come to church with guns and drugs on me. You know what I'm saying? And the one thing I always talk about is that they never shunned me. They never treated me. They never treated me like I was an outcast. And in all honesty, I should have been an outcast. You know what I'm saying? I should have been, but he knew me since I was little, and he knew that, you know, I was going through something. You know what I'm saying? That and he always saw that God had more for me. You know what I'm saying? So he was there, but one day he sat down, me, Coach, who's on the show with me now, and another guy, his name was Ray Ray. He sat all three of us down, and we were 17 years old. And he said, if y'all keep going down the road that you're going, y'all are going to kill each other. And he didn't mean like we were going to physically shoot each other. He meant if we stay together, we're going to either be in a box or a jail cell. You know, is one of the two. You know, and the way we was going, he was 100% right. And we actually decided that day through him talking to us in a prayer of his wife and other people that we were going to separate. And we did separate.
Wow.
And that was really about the time that I met Vicky. And I decided that I wanted different. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so, like I said, it was God's timing. Like, God intervened in that thing and told when my pastor sat us all down and really told us, it really hit us. You know what I'm saying? That we were wild. You know, and it was just a point. Then I met Vicky, and then everything just moved. It's just God. You know, that's how God got me. And even though, but to go to your point and your question, I wouldn't say that I was 100% man of God until probably about 2.5 years ago is when I started. Now, I always had faith, but to say, you know, I was one that I prayed by myself. I never prayed over my family. I never prayed with my wife. I never did that. I always prayed by myself because when I was a youth, I was always by myself. So I found it hard. It was even in counseling when I was talking to my counselor in counseling, I'm like, I can't pray with my wife, and I find that to be a problem. Like, for me, prayer was just so intimate that I just didn't feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And it took a lot for me to change in my life, and even with my walk with God, for me to now I'm confident. Now I'm confident about praying with my wife. Now I'm confident about praying over my family and this, that, and the other. So God was always in my life. Now, was he first in my life? I can honestly say no until about a few years ago. But to go into that, it was also love that made me grow stronger. It was during that time me and Vicky was having some issues. We had some issues in the past. And it really took for me to put my wife aside and say, I need to get myself right with God. And really sit down and just have that time where I just worked on me in my relationship with God. Because the problem was that I wasn't listening to God first. I was listening to Vicky. I was listening to myself. I was listening to all these things other than God first. I was listening to the alcohol bottle. I was listening to, whatever, other than listening to God first. And it really took me in the last 3 years is when my strength with God has really excited, where I go to God first, no matter what. Not the alcohol. The alcohol bottle was my biggest problem. Throughout those years, I always settled my problems with alcohol. And that was just because that's what I learned as a teenager. As a teenager, when I had problems, I settled it with alcohol. So it took me really getting the alcohol not being number one in my life to really get to the point where my relationship with God has flourished since then. And flourished
Indeed.
immensely. So that's because when you went into where I got into, I wouldn't say that I had God first. Now, I always had God in my life, but he wasn't first until, say, about 3 years ago.
So what else? You got something?
Yeah, so Vicky, for you as a wife, did you find that to be difficult to have such a long period of time for that to materialize in your husband?
It
Was that
was.
hard?
It was very hard. But just like I mentioned before, I had to rely on God in every situation, in every circumstance, because I knew that I wasn't walking this alone. It was hard to get up and go to church by myself with two kids. It was difficult. It was hard to do whatever because of the state that he was in. Um, it was very difficult because being raised in the church, I always saw my mother and father praying together, doing devotions together, doing Bible study together. And, growing up in I don't know if you know or not, but in the older churches, they used to have what they call like altar call. And so the children would come up to the altar and do their Bible verses. And so like my parents would work with me and my brother on our Bible verses, and we would read the Bible together. And like I saw all these things happening in my household that I didn't see in my household and longed for. And so it really bothered me a lot. But I knew that he would eventually get there. Like I never lost hope that he would eventually get there. I just didn't know when. God didn't tell me when, but I trusted God
Never
that he would
does.
bring him there. And so when me and Rodney said, I do, it wasn't just between me and Rodney. It was between me, Rodney, and God. And that was a covenant
I
that
like.
was made.
That's good. That's good.
It was a covenant that was made. And I didn't want to let God down, number one, by leaving the relationship. And I didn't want to let Rodney down and my kids down. So I had to make a decision that I was going to take it for the team, you know?
Wow.
Okay, God, I know that you said, because I prayed, I trust and believe and read your word. You said that Rodney would eventually get there, but you didn't tell me when. You never explained to me when. And I would go to him and say, how long, God? How long, God? I'm hurting. I'm this, I'm that, whatever. But God said, keep the faith, keep trusting, keep believing. He's going to get there. He's going to get there. Now, the question is, are you going to be prepared to forgive him for all of these things when he gets there? That was his question for me. That was God's question for me.
And that's what I'm thinking. How much it builds your relationship with God in the
Yes,
midst of that. We're gonna go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
that was the thing right there. When you go through your wilderness, that was my wilderness. And it did, again, he did not tell me when it was going to be over. He led me into the wilderness and I had to fall on my face. I had to cry. I had to
My
pray.
God, the
I had to
wilderness.
dissect these scriptures. I had to dissect what a wife is supposed to do, what God commanded a wife to do. Why did he create us to be a helpmate for our husband? What am I doing in my life that is not like Christ, that is causing him to react or respond in this way? Or can I do something better? Or what am I saying to trigger some memories? Or what, I had to really hone
Wait a
into those
minute. Now we can't
things.
skate past that. That's deep.
Right. Yeah. I really had to hone into a lot of those things. And I'm not saying that I was perfect because the flesh, we're human, it rises up. And so God, I have to suffer from the stuff that I do, and so I'm not perfect, and I'm never claiming to be perfect. There's only one perfect person, and that's God. But there were times where I got so frustrated and so angry. I acted out in certain ways and did certain things
Of course.
to
Yeah.
cause
Yeah.
more detriment to the relationship than it did cause, help the relationship. And so in the midst of that wilderness period, God had me on my face, and like there were times where I just like wanted to just pull my hair out. And there were times that I did want to leave, but I remember the commitment that I made when I said I do. He takes that very, very seriously. And it's not just sign on the contract. I mean, sign on the paper. It's not just, something you hang on your wall. It is very serious, and it's a spiritual thing. And so when I made that contract and that covenant, excuse me, not contract, covenant with God and with my husband, I also made it with my children as well. Even though all of them may not have been here, I made it with my children that no matter what is going on in the relationship, that God is able to see us through. We just have to stand on his word. We have to fall on our faces. We have to just give it all to him. Give it all to him. And I believe that has it definitely caused the relationship between me and God to just produce in
Yeah.
such a
Yeah.
way
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
it wouldn't have produced if I wouldn't have went through um, those wilderness experiences. Because while he was asleep, or if we were going at it and I couldn't sleep, I would get up in the middle of the night and I would go into the couch and I would cry and I would pray. I would pray. And I would seek God's face and listen to what God had to tell me. And then it got to a point where God was like, lay your hand on his back. While he's sleeping, lay your hand on his back and pray my word over his life. So the things that
Wow.
he's doing for me now, God instructed me to do for him while he was in the midst of his storm. And
And my storm came when my mother passed away. Just so you know, that's when the storm really hit. When my
Okay.
mom
So.
passed away too. So yeah.
So I got a couple of questions here, but that she said some deep stuff about, first of all, looking at herself to see, have I caused something? Am I part of the problem? That's powerful. But most of all, I hear greatly how any circumstance, especially with your spouse, God is looking at, I'm working on you at the same time. So it's like we see
yeah,
the greater problem in our spouse, but he's always saying, hey, some things I'm healing in you, and then I'll change it.
right,
So one of the
right.
questions I want to get to, how did was drinking a big part, and how did that take a toll on your marriage? Was it a heavy thing you were going through with drinking?
You asking me or him?
Yeah, either one. How did the drinking, was it a heavy alcoholic problem?
What?
Oh, she looking at you.
I was fine with it.
Yes.
So
I
did
was fine.
Miss
Hold
okay,
on, hold on.
Victoria.
I want to say this
That was for
real
you
quick.
then.
I want to say this real quick. I was not a great husband, but I wasn't a terrible husband either.
That's
You know
true.
what I'm
That's
saying?
very, very
So
true.
yes,
Okay.
alcohol was my problem, but it wasn't like I was out here where she got to pick me up from the drunk tank or anything like this. I want you to understand, I was a very functional alcoholic.
Yes.
I never missed work. She got every paycheck. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was there for my kids. I was there for her. You
But
know
were
what I'm
you
saying? But
emotionally there for her?
was I emotionally?
Were you emotionally there for her?
No.
So let her. I pause, brother.
No.
I'm part of the red. I see that face.
I
So
wasn't
talk to us.
emotionally there for me. So I couldn't
Okay.
have been there for her.
Okay then. All right. Because when you went down there, and I know it from alcoholics, people with anger, people with drugs, they'll say, I paid the bills, I was there for my kids. But you hear the other side like, man, he wasn't there. I the bills paid, but I wanted this and I needed this. And that when it get hard. So from the sister, how was that alcohol binge at that time affecting you or your marriage?
It affected it a lot. It affected And so in a lot of different areas. I think that it affected it so much so, like he said, within the last 3 years is when he really became, kind of let that go and became a follower of Christ for real.
That's good.
I, yeah, I think that when God asked me that question, when he brings me out, when he brings him out of it, well, I'll be able to forgive everything that he has done.
Oh,
That when I was faced with that question, then I just had to look at every situation that had occurred. Um,
yeah, yeah.
and I had to give God every situation that have occurred, and it wasn't easy. It was not easy. Um,
So
but
that leads to this question. It's the same thing. I gotta just add it in there. How did you fall
okay.
in love with the new person then?
I think it was easy to fall in love with a new person.
That's a
Okay,
lot.
okay, okay,
That's a
okay,
lot. Sorry,
okay.
my
You're right.
bad.
Let me back up.
There it
Let me
is.
back up. Let me back up.
Okay.
Once I was able to forgive, once I was able to forgive, then it was able to fall in love with him. But
Okay.
before the forgiveness took place, like serious forgiveness, when I had to look at God and be like, God, for real, like everything, I gotta forgive everything, like everything. But what about this? But what about when this
Everything.
happened? But what
Everything.
about when that happened? Like I gotta forgive
Yeah.
everything. And he said everything. And I say even the residue, like I describe it as like if you drink a cup of
Ooh.
milk, a glass of milk, and the residue that comes off the glass of milk, I
Yeah.
gotta forgive that too. Like I need
Everything.
God to help me get rid of that too, because that stains the glass. That's what stains the glass is the residue.
Mhm.
And I'm just like,
I'm sorry. Kevin said women keep receipts.
but
Yeah.
I knew that that was gonna be my problem. I knew that that was gonna be the issue. When God
Okay.
brought him out, would I be able to forgive even the residue left on the grass? Okay, I can forgive this, I can forgive that, I can forgive that. But what about the things that hurt the most? Could I
Yeah.
forgive
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was going through this program when he started his healing. I was also starting my healing journey as well. And I went through this class. It's called IHU, Intrepid Hope University. And like the first question was out the gate, what are you stuck in? And so that was the thing that I was stuck in forgiveness. And through the process of seeking God and doing the exercises and things like that, one of the lessons that was taught to us was unconditional love, and what does that look like, and to pray for your enemies. And so my mind was like every situation that had taken place under the influence of alcohol was my enemy. How could
Mm.
I forgive every enemy that has hurt me? And I said, and I kept on asking God, how do I forgive this? How do I truly forgive? Because
Yeah.
saying I forgive and not really forgiving is not going to cleanse the heart. It's not going to cleanse
Right.
Yeah.
your
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
soul. It's just
That's
still
right.
gonna be there, you know. And so, like, God, show me. Like, I need you to show me how to really forgive, not the traditional way of forgiving, but really cleanse my soul of all the things that has happened.
Mhm.
Because I want to
Amen.
love
Amen.
him. I want to love him the way that you love him, and I want to see him the way that you see him. So how do I get rid of that stain? And so he led me to Pastor Joyce Meyer's testimony, and how she talks about how she had to forgive her father
Her
and
parents.
her
Yeah. Yeah.
mother
That one helped me
about,
too. Yeah.
right? Exactly. So you know her testimony. For those that don't, she was
Yes.
sexually
Yeah.
abused
Yes.
for for a long, long time, up into her teenage years, and she was given
Man.
to And she was given to her father's friends, and her mother knew about it and turned a blind eye. And then at the end of their life, she had to take care of them. How did she do that? How did she do that? And there's no other explanation except for God. There's no other explanation except for God. And so I asked God, like, I want that, because that's the only way I'm going to be able to get through this. And so I looked at her testimony and I watched it several times over. And I listened to what she said, followed what she had said, went back to God, went like I was seeking,
Wow.
how do I get rid of this bitterness? How do I get rid of the anger? How do I get rid of the frustration and the tears that I cried and the everything that, because our body holds the score, right? I wanted to release every inch of that. And he was like, just wash the glass. Just wash the glass. Just wash the glass. What do you mean? What do you mean? Is that easy? I forgave you for your sins. Yours
I knew
don't
that
look
was
like
gonna come up.
his. Yours don't look like his, but what about your lying? What about your thieving? Oh, if you steal time or you steal a pen, that's you thieving. Okay. So I forgave you because of this. I forgave you because of this. You still have a little bit of a bitterness in your heart from this situation or this situation, but I forgave you. And so he just kept bringing back things that he forgave me for, and how we're supposed to forgive 70 times 7 and continuously forgive on a daily basis, every minute of every day. We always have to forgive, because I wanted God to forgive me of my sins. So I just had to wash the glass. I had to just put it in a dishwasher and press hot. I just had to cleanse the glass.
Hey. So I want to ask Rodney. Wow, that's some good stuff. You gonna be teaching some women, you know that, right? If you're not doing it now, because the most thing that we understand through our situation, God is preparing us for ministry. Everything that I've been through, He's allowed me to help somebody else. And the biggest step from books to traveling and speaking is a part of all that pain. And I love to do it because I always say the enemy didn't get a foothold over me, or when I help
Yes.
somebody. So man, everything you just said is a breakdown. I'm telling you, even of a curriculum, the way you broke down each part about what God said, another woman of God needs to hear. So I just want you to understand that He's going to use that for your good, for you being obedient. So Rodney, as you
Yes.
started shifting, how did your love help her? How did you start changing? I say maybe it's just the last 3 years. How did you start, or did you feel, hey man, I got to go fix some things and love her more? What did you start as your mind cleared with God?
So, well, let's get back. Okay, so my wife was my biggest critic.
Okay.
And just like what she's saying she was going through was actually something that made me in my journey to go towards Christ and really believe in Him stronger.
Wow. Okay.
Because I knew that I can lie to everybody else in this world. I can sit here and tell everybody else in this world, I'm a man of God, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread, God has revealed me, all that. But until my wife believed me, none of it mattered. None of it mattered.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, as I changed, my wife, and I'll be honest, was standing there calling BS.
Yeah.
Like,
To start off
nah.
like that.
Like, nah, you ain't changed. You know what I'm saying? You ain't do this. And then, and I'll say this, he would test me. He would test me. And she would see how, you gonna run to the bottle now? Who you gonna run to? What you gonna do? This, that, and the other. And I'm not gonna say that she was right in what she was doing, but I knew that the only way that this was really gonna work is that I have to really change. And B, I knew once I got my wife, nothing was gonna stop me.
Wow.
Like once I
That's a
got
good
her
understanding.
with me on the same page, that we are now, like you said, equally yoked. We are
Yeah.
now in the what you call it, because I knew that I did a lot of things wrong. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong, I still say I was a great father, great husband. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I knew that my thing was this. My problem was this, is that I was a terrible emotional drinker. So
Yeah.
I drunk to cover my emotions. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I didn't share my emotions with my wife. If I
Most
was
women say
having
that's
a
what they
bad
go through.
day, I would
Yeah.
go straight to the bottle, never to her or never to God. You know what I'm saying? And but when God revealed everything to me and this, that, and the other, when she then came and challenged me, at first it was good until I finally had to say to her, I was like, look, babe, I just want to get to the point that you understand that we're on the same team. Like you don't have to come against me. You know what I'm saying? Now I understand why you're doing it. I understand you're doing it because because I've led this life for a long time. And now all of a sudden out of the blue, I'm telling you I'm different. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And I'm showing you, and yeah, she's seeing it from other people, this, that, and the other. When I started the podcast and started doing my things, Vicky, she never watched an episode. You know what I'm saying? Because she didn't believe that I was out here really trying to do these things. And it was
Yeah.
fine, but it finally got to a point where God told me, he was like, all right, now it's time for you to tell her enough's enough.
Wait a minute, Austin.
Go ahead.
No, one of my bro also said these wives are mean.
Oh yeah, I saw that
Oh.
too. I saw that too.
Nah,
He healing from
that
too.
ain't it, bro. I deserved everything I got. I ain't gonna lie.
And
God
so
told me
that
I deserved it. So
were you,
you
did it
know,
increase your prayer life that you would change more for your wife? Did it make you pray more?
yes, 100%.
Okay.
100%. Made me pray more. It made me really have the honest conversations with God. The honest
Yes.
one. Okay. Sorry, my daughter coming down here messing with stuff. Anyway, but it really made me have to be. I couldn't come to God faking. You know what I'm saying? Even though God would call it out, but I still couldn't. I really had to get myself together and get myself
That's good.
get myself where I really had when I was really I really have a real relationship with him. And God,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I got tested. I got tested throughout the whole thing. And not even just my wife, but other people tested me. But then, it was once I realized that no matter how it looks from the outside, if I follow what God has for me, if I follow what God is telling me, it will all work out. You know what I'm saying? It always does. I say to people all the time, God is the only person with a 100% record. He's never missed a free throw, never missed a three-pointer. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm going to trust a life decision, I need to trust it with the person who's never failed.
Yeah.
I can't,
Amen. Amen.
even taking it out of my wife's hands or taking it out of this person or taking it out of the bottle. You know what I'm saying? Like God never fails. And I can honestly say that. You know what I'm saying? Even in my time when I was doing all those things, he still never failed me.
It's 1,000 for 1,000.
Yeah. So
The thing that I've learned about God, they say there's a saying they say that the closest people can hurt you, and also the closest people can help you change.
uh,
Because sometimes that openness can be mishandled or misunderstood. But I like how
Yeah.
both of y'all, the biggest thing I've learned is when a person can say, man, I was a mess. So for me and my wife, she definitely, God put some things, because when she married me, in the church, traveling, speaking, all that good stuff. But I still had some. My street name was Reggie Red, so I still had some stuff on me. So I knew that me getting angry, getting mad at her, I didn't want to hurt her. So that what made me more want to draw closer to God. And that's why I said the topic is your love helped me to grow. And my wife definitely did that for me. It wasn't my purpose. It wasn't seeking money. It was like, it wasn't even, I don't want to say not even God, because God is a part of it. But he used her as I gotta heal some more. He put her in front of me. Her and my son, but definitely because I'm with her more because my son is with his mother. He definitely used it. And children and spouses have that type of effect on us. So that's why I said change. What does he say? The change is definitely what God used for me. You know what I mean? My wife and everything. So what I'm saying to you is, I'm saying to you, with y'all both growing and finally, how has your marriage enriched? Like, where is
Our
it
marriage is
growing
the
for
best
real?
it's ever been.
Yes, it has been the best it's ever been.
Let's
Um,
get through.
yeah, amazing what God can do. Um,
I mean, for me, the biggest thing is one, I don't run to the bottle every time something goes wrong anymore. Two, you know, I'm just so at peace with what God has brought me to and where I'm at and this, that, and the other. The other issue that I did suffer from that God released me from was one, I went to the bottle for my problems, but I also went to my wife and put her on a pedestal where I expected her to solve my problems. And that was something I really had to get through because most of our arguments for me on my end was I expected her to do something. Like, oh, you see I'm having a bad day. How come you didn't do this? Oh, you see that something's going on. How come you didn't do that? You know what I'm saying? How come you ain't read my mind and do what I expect you to do without me telling you? You know it was a bad day. I told you it was a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? And once I took her off that pedestal where I expected her to solve my problems, that was 95% of my issue. You know what I'm saying? Because now I don't look at it. When I got a problem, I go to God. You know what I'm saying? When I got a problem, I go to him and I look for him and I don't look for her to answer anything. And a lot of men do that. They put something else in front of God. And once you really take all those God in the Bible talks about idols all the time. And people think idols have to be this is your idol or this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? When anything that you put in front of God is your idol, whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, whether it's your kids, whether it's money, whether it's food, whether it's porn, whether it's this, anything you put before God is an idol. And you can even make your spouse your idol.
which is you can even put good things in front of God, which is still not the right order
Indeed.
because he created a specific order.
Yeah, exactly. So
But you said something I want to go back to. When you said now you don't put your wife as your idol, and you go to God when you have problems. But do y'all sit down and say, babe, what do you think? Do y'all do the understanding that there's wisdom in your wife just like there's in you? Because I'm saying that because, and I'm pretty sure you do, but a lot of men that I've met, they do try to handle everything on their own. They don't consult their wives. They don't understand that God put wisdom in their spouse. I know from my wife, even in my son's mother when I was married before, that was a lot of answers that he said, I gave you a teammate, that they have wisdom. But especially men that are go-getters, that may run business, they may be especially the breadwinners. They feel that they have it all figured out. And I know this from talking to women, counseling or family that is like, man, he don't even, that's his thing and this is my thing. That's not a unity when that's his thing and this is my thing. So how do y'all come together with answers and resolutions, respecting the anointing and the wisdom or the spirit or whatever in both of y'all? Do you do that? Y'all praying? And that goes to how much are you praying more together now?
So I want to start with this question because I think initially I was like, he ain't hear from God. I'm like, when he was still like teeter tottering on the fence, I was like, he ain't hearing from God. I'm not listening. I'm not hearing, you know. But then he was consistent. He was consistent with his devotion. He was consistent with seeking God. He was consistent with the things of God. And I began to see fruit. And when I began to see fruit, then I was like, huh, okay, God, I see what you're doing. All right. All right. All right. Okay. I'm a back up 2 steps. I'm a back up 2 steps. That's it. That's it for right now. Kept being consistent, kept being consistent, kept being consistent. I was like, all right, I'm gonna let him have this one situation. I'm gonna let him have. Take that
Like you
situation.
looking like that, Rodney.
Okay.
Your husband with these
It
face
look like
melts.
nothing, man. I'm good. I ain't saying a word.
Then I was like, okay, I'm just, you know what? He has come so far, and I can see where he is. He's doing his devotional. He's waking up in the morning in praise and worship. Oh, that's a turn on. That's a turn on. You know what I'm saying? And
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I see him praying. Then he praying with me. We taking turns praying. Then he praying over me. Wait a minute now. He praying over me now. Oh, shucks, God. Look, what did you do? Like, what did you do? It's just like it was like he had to make that decision internally, between him and God, and step outside of the stronghold that he was in. And he had an encounter with God as well. I don't know if you want to talk about it on here or not, but whatever. He had an encounter with God. And once that thing broke, then it broke. It
Wow.
broke. And like it was like he had clarity of mind. He was open and willing to do what God had called him to do as the man and the leader of this household. And so I was able to say, okay, I'm gonna take a back seat now. I think it's time for me to have a seat. I'm gonna have a sit down and I'm gonna let you lead. I'm gonna see what God gonna do with you now. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna listen. And that's where the submission comes in. That's where the submission came
Hey,
in.
Reggie, she make it sound so good, huh? Let me tell you
I'm just
something.
waiting on. I'm letting her
She
finish
was
because your
she was
face is
kicking
already
and
answering.
screaming going to that back seat, Reggie. She was kicking and screaming. Don't let her sit here and convince you that all of a sudden God, and she was just like,
Mm-mm.
no, no,
I
sir.
said it was
No,
a
sir.
process. It was a
Kicking
process.
and screaming, sir. Kicking and screaming to that back seat.
It was
That
a
was not,
process.
Yeah.
that was not how it worked at all.
Well,
At
for me it
all.
did.
She was in that passenger seat, fake braking. You know what I'm saying? All that in the passenger seat, blah, 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 this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And it had to get to a point, and I mean, it was a point where we going back to right before the forgiveness. It was a point where God gave me clarity even on that. Because I was like, why are you still fighting against me? Like, I'm trying to be everything you wanted me to be.
Ooh.
Why are you still fighting against me? And she was like, I don't even remember what she said, but I said, and I just looked at it and I said, well, I'm going to pray for you over that because that's between you and God. That don't got
Ooh.
nothing to do with me.
And he
Hey.
was right.
I
He was
wish
You,
my
right.
other brother Rodney was on here.
He was right. He
I,
was right because God had to deal with me. He had to deal with the residue of my heart. And he was absolutely right.
Because I told her, I said, God forgave me. I forgave myself. I said, now, if you don't forgive me, that's between you and God. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I was like, if I was you, I'd be praying him more. Like, why you
Get you
coming
to
up
change,
with me? Go to God. Because I ain't got nothing to do with it. And I told her, I was like, if there was something I could do to make you forgive me right now, I would do it. Like, I would do it. But your forgiveness for me is 100% your decision. Just like you're deciding to not forgive me, you can also decide to just forgive me.
And
You
that's
know,
where I
so
had to wash the glass. I had to
what you
wash
need,
the
people?
glass.
But I'm gonna say that's one of the age old hardest thing is that a person you've been with for years. You hear a lot of sisters saying it like, "Listen, it took me a while to forgive him." When you've been around somebody close to them for years, you done heard this gonna happen. First of all, let's think about how we have to. I know what I dealt with when I felt like God kept letting me down. No, God had to tell me mine was against him. It wasn't against my mother, against my father. I had forgave my mother years ago. Me and my dad, I tried to reach out to him a few times, but my beef was with God. To where I was angry with him, like, man, you let this happen, you let that happen.
Yeah.
Now I'm believing that we're gonna climb the rocket. Then another thing. So when you've been believing for so long, it is a choice, but I understand it's a struggle because especially when you feel like you may be really close to somebody, you love them, you need them. We need God. But then it's your wife and you in the same house. It's like, man, you done told me this many
Yeah.
times. So that is something but I like what it is. That is something between the person and God.
Mm-hmm.
That is something. And then God
And
will use you to be praying for her.
Yeah.
yes, exactly. It's like God works in him and then he's working with me at the same time. While he's telling me to do this or do that, he's telling him to do this or do that. And so
Mm-hmm.
once we're aligned in God's word, it's like things just unfold how they should be. But I've got to be obedient to God for it to happen, and he got to be obedient to God for it to happen as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
So
yes.
it's
absolutely.
like
That's why I
two
always say
wheels
he's
turning
using the situation.
together.
He's working things out. My wife got plenty of testimonies where she'll say, she admit, man, I was being stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
God didn't
Hmm.
told me. And God said something about what you said, and I was being stubborn. So I've watched him work on you while you're looking at when you gonna change this person. He said, I'm changing you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Every
Mhm.
yeah,
time almost. And a lot of
yeah.
times in relationships, we misplace where those expectations should be. And instead of taking the weight, I love the way that Rodney had those expressions about having so many expectations, so many different expectations for his wife, instead of taking those prayers to God. I had to
Mhm.
learn that religiously with God. I remember so many different times I would always leave the house and I would tell my husband I got beef with God, and so many different occasions, I would think that I would really be angry with him, but really I needed to just beef it out with God.
And I was telling you, mad at God. You ain't
Yeah.
mad at me.
Then I would get mad at him for telling me that I'm mad at God.
Then
So
she mad at me because I'm telling her the truth. And I got to back up from being like, she said, I'm tired of marrying a life coach. My wife
yeah,
said that
I'm
to
tired of you coaching me.
me.
Tired of it.
Oh my
But it was a harsh reality. But
Yeah.
once all the anger dissipates and you really have that opportunity to get your alone time and really get in sync with what you're hearing from the Holy Spirit, if we allow that time to really get in tune with him, that healing begins.
Hmm.
Yeah, because
That's really what God desires for us.
yeah, ain't nothing like your children and your spouse to stretch your faith and help you grow.
Yes.
That
Ain't
is
that?
what your first ministry is. And it will stretch you because of your love for these people.
Yeah.
But how because of how close you are. You know what I mean? And then when you really want to change, and now you're like, I'm changed. Now, when you gonna forgive me, then it's nice time for your time, as that person was praying for you to
Oh,
change. Now you
Hmm.
want the man, forgive me. I've been praying a long time for you to change. Now you praying. So, but it goes back to the center thing of what we're saying. Each one of y'all love, no matter if it's tough love
Yeah.
or bubbly agape love, it helps us to grow. Because
Yeah.
Rodney has shared before sometimes on these shows that how he's grown being with you, how it's grown. And like I said, 25 years, good Lord.
Yeah.
That ain't no small time right there. Y'all been knowing each other since little kids. There ain't nobody else like
Yes.
my boy Kevin, his wife. They been knowing each other so long,
Hmm.
been around
Hmm.
each other. You know what I mean? You done went through the man. I don't even got to see her. Just go in
oh,
the other room. Those days till we want to
Yeah.
be in a room. So to rekindle something. Now I'm gonna ask y'all this: have y'all started speaking to other couples yet?
Together? No, that's the first time since all the change. No, we did the show together. So we did the show together a couple times.
Oh yes.
Vicky did her own show, Dad Natali episodes, where it was him and the other host, Matt's wife, and they talked about how much change we've done. So, I mean, we've done some things, but nothing like really
Okay.
going. We've talked about doing more things together, but
I'm just coming from the Holy Ghost, man. Y'all testimony
yeah,
is
hey,
powerful.
hey, I've
Y'all
said it too,
testimony
but
together.
I got a strong personality wife and everything,
Oh,
so
okay. Pass the blame
we
on
don't.
over there then.
We
So
want
my
to,
But you know,
sometimes we don't do well. Like we got to know who's going to drive the car before we get in the car. And
I mean, I
so,
see that, y'all, but
yeah,
it's
but what I really love about the most about the two of you is that it is such an awesome demonstration of agape love. Like seriously, the love that really goes through the test of time. God's
mm,
demonstration of love, how you go through it, through thick and thin, through sickness and in health, through the good times and the bad times. You know, the way that you two have eloquently have stuck to it. And just to hear the fact that, with you, Rodney, your journey walk in developing your relationship, your love journey with God is really just in the beginning stages. But the
yeah.
foundational love that your wife has had with you, the stick to itiveness that she's had with you through and through up until this point is really the most genuine type of love that a person can have, because you're still together, and it's even more beautiful. Lady, the rewards that God has stored up for you because of your faithfulness,
mm,
there's going to be an outpouring because of the ways that you have been faithful in loving him by the way
hallelujah.
that you have shown up
Oh,
for your husband.
she
Hallelujah.
already getting that. Yeah, she already getting that. She got a
Listen,
dream job, and she's working in her purpose and all that kind of stuff. While I'm still trying to find my purpose, and she already working in hers. And, hey, trust me, you don't understand. And Vicky will tell you, I wake her every morning jealous. I'm like, nah, you don't get to sleep in. You got to go do God's work. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, I'm sitting
what
here
do you
still
what
trying
kind
to
of
figure
work do
out
you
what
do,
it is.
Vicky? I'm
Huh?
curious. What kind of work do you do?
So you want to know what
I
you
work.
do, Vicky?
Okay, yes, I work with a assistant living facility. I am the events coordinator with them, but I also help them with their daily living activities. So I wake them up
Oh,
out of bed and I help them get dressed. I wash them and then I get to sit with them and talk to them about their past. We do activities together. We stretch and we talk and I get a chance to encourage them because two of them, one was a pastor, one was a missionary, and so I get to talk about God all day long. I get
oh,
to
Oh,
pray
okay.
to
wow.
praise and worship with them all day
We know
long.
about that option.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yes, all day long, and so I
And
love
that's not
it.
it.
And that's not it. I also do I do yoga for kids, for little kids. But it's more than just yoga. It's stretching. It's finding time to sit and be quiet with your thoughts, how to
Yeah.
respond instead of react to situations, encouraging them, having them say affirmations, believing in themselves. And like there's been so many
Mm.
times where God's hand has moved because you don't know what these kids come to school with,
Yeah, these are
and
underprivileged kids.
underprivileged
Yeah,
kids.
they
They're
don't have school activities. This is something that she does because the schools no longer have any kind of activity for them.
no.
So
Right.
And
Wow.
so,
Wow.
I
Wow.
get to
Wow.
go and to pour into their lives. And, I'm just a vessel and God pours into their lives. And when God brings, puts notice on a certain child, I see God's face. What do I need to do for this? What do I need to do? What do I need to say to this child? Or How can I be a light for this child? And it's normally those children that are, disturbing the classroom and, have the chip on their shoulder and everything. And I just pull them in and show them God's love. I show them God's love. And it just makes me so happy that I have two opposite ends of the spectrum, those that are getting ready to be escorted out, and then those that are going to be raised up. So I'm grateful.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
But yeah, man, I think that definitely I think that definitely we all still have some ways to grow. Paul said we die daily till we leave, but I'm thankful to hear y'all testimony and admitting the things you've overcome, and even saying, and I'm thinking about writing, saying we gonna do it, but we got to see, we got strong personality. Who gonna drive? Oh, I just want you to remember this, brother. But I understand what you're saying. Only Jesus gonna drive. So in the conversation, he'll help you when she should say something. You pull back, but I'm telling y'all, just from right now, the thing that she said and then the things you admitted could help couples, because I've talked to many of them. So I know what y'all saying could help. But once it's more about, just like me and my wife, she said something, I tell them, she said, a lot of times I don't be knowing when to say something because you be asking the question. Go, I said, baby, I don't know if you're gonna say that because you quiet all the time. So we had to have that conversation about coming on here. So I'm like, when you want to say something, just tap me and say something, because now we'll be sitting here and I got to do something. So it's the understanding of the conversation. And then I know I'm the talker anyway. My wife is shy, but she has a lot of wisdom in her. But sometimes she don't be bold. And so that's why I say, man, just go ahead and say it. Go ahead and get in, because what I know is there's something, just like when we have business meetings, I always want my wife there because she hears things I don't hear. I feel the Holy Ghost on that. It is always better for me to partner with her because she sees it different. She asks it, like when I start talking about Reginald or whatever, she'll say something totally different. And I'll be like, man, that was powerful the way you came in. Well, these kids with the statistics, this and that. And I'm like, I'm talking about what I went through. So I'm just bridging the gap in y'all's spirit of how powerful y'all are together. There is a wisdom of both of y'all. There's something that you will not think of that she will, and he will not the same way, vice versa. So once I understood, and me and my wife understood, hold up, we are really a power couple together. Not for everybody else to understand that term, but what we bring to the table is what God dynamically put together that only that person can do and only I can do. So there is no, like when we start doing the bakery, I am to go out, sell, talk to people, get these bakery sheets in the background, making it happen. I do good at the sales, but God knew that. So once these marriages know what the other one is good at, we don't got to fight for no room or space. There's something your wife can do. And all the people watching, men and my brothers on here, that your wife can do that you can't do. But it's very more important when the man come to the wife and ask her input. What you think? Get her involved. I've learned that. Baby, what you think? So I'm always telling, hey man, I gotta talk to my. But we're literally really business partners and ministry partners, though. We really are. So there's no you do a job, you do a job. So it's easier for us to like, hey man, I gotta go. Now in the beginning, my wife was like, he micromanaged, he running everything. Hey, I came in like that.
Listen.
I had to die to some stuff doing like, man, no, let me see what my. And then there's a couple of times when that person, you ask me a question, it don't go right. I'm like, I ain't asking her no more. We not buying that. That ain't the way. You want to give up on your partner because it don't go right.
We had to work out some kinks.
I'm sure we will.
I'm better at assisting her in her world than she. No, but don't get me wrong. My wife has assisted me in my world, so I can't. But when you're in my world, you got to understand you in my world. In my world, there is no vice presidency.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
No,
and maybe that is something I have to work on. Like I know how to be the good wingman. My wife, I love her to death, but. I can't even say you're not a good wingman. I'm gonna think of a better way to say what I'm going to say, but yeah, it's just that for me, it's a me issue. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, but praise the Lord, because this is what I'm saying. Before we get ready to get off here, if it's not this, then He may build something in y'all to do together. That may be ministry. It may not be what y'all doing in your world of the radio and this, but there's something always that God brings purpose partners together for, whether you see it or not, or you're not asking Him about. There's no, oh, she over here, I'm over here, and she can't really help me, because that ain't the way I've seen God do it. There is every man. TDJ said, I would not be here without Sarita. I've heard every man that
Oh,
of greatness. Denzel Washington said it, but not just because, yeah, Denzel said, boy, you don't understand. Y'all see me out front, but what my wife did. So I'm saying this just as I'm saying this, I had to learn the power of them. I'm like, wait a minute, because God told me, He said, you didn't just pick a good woman. For your next step, your wife was sent to you by me. I was like, wait, that's different. So He was saying, for Reggie and I to go higher and you to go higher, no, your wife was placed there. So you can't look at, oh, I can just go get another one. Because I've had those thoughts. Because I've been divorced before, and I know I'm a runner. Hey, man, I ain't got to deal with this no more. God said, no, I sent her for your next stage. You got to look at it different. So for you to go higher, Latanya was sent. I was like, oh, so then this is why I'm going higher, because you already sanctioned it. So once we start switching our mindset of who our spouse is, you changing, her praying, no matter how she probably would be, hey man, like you said, man, she my word critic, but she was praying too. She was covering you. She was saying some stuff. So as we get ready to get off here, man, I just wanted to pour that into y'all. I know for sure the power of y'all testimony from the responses and from what I'm hearing in the people I counsel. You being your truth helps other people be set free. But I like how y'all told the truth. We ain't got to come on here and sugarcoat. And Rodney said, yeah, I felt this. He said, well, no. And I like how you, no, it was hard. He was like, hey, I wasn't that bad of a husband. But emotionally, you wasn't. So the truth is what people want to hear. They don't hear like, man, I was a drinker too. How she got over that? Then he said, well, man, my wife had to love, pray, you got to forgive. So y'all said some good stuff that I'm knowing. So I'm hoping y'all do more interviews. I'm hoping that God leads y'all to do one-on-one counseling. Is at His timing. But we have to open our mind up to our gifts. Sometimes like, nah, and I done counsel like, man, you could do, nah, really well. Man, 3 or 4 people done told you this. See, you're not wanting to step out. But y'all have something that could step out on.
And I believe you will hear this again and know it'll be a confirmation.
Oh, it's going to be a confirmation.
You'll hear it
If
again.
you ain't hearing it now, it's going to be a confirmation.
Yeah.
He didn't allow y'all to get healed from that, not to help other people.
Right.
Well, I know me and my wife together. Me and my wife together, we don't lose in nothing. So we both it's that we both competitive. Like if me and her on the same team, we ain't losing. When we play like those games, like y'all, you know the what is it?
Taboo and
all that stuff. Like we got that secret language thing going on. Like if the word is aquarium, we'll be like, you know, I can say like 2 fish in a boat, aquarium. You know.
So you're saying y'all are very much in sync then.
Yeah, you know, so we don't lose. And it became a point in our relationship where we had to decide that when we go to people's houses, and they want to play games, if they separate us, we not playing.
Nope.
We not playing. Because when we get in a car later, it ain't nothing but fighting the rest of the time. So we learned that together, when we play games together, we don't lose. And if we separate it, we not playing because we don't play fair. We don't like losing to each other, and we don't play fair.
Well, then I hope that translate and y'all winning in the kingdom and helping people.
Amen.
Because the way I heard her break down and teach stuff, and I know you from the podcast, your show saying stuff and teaching. I know that there's something in y'all marriage, and this was a confirmation. It ain't the first time. We had another couple who came on. I was like, we the first time we came on y'all show and talked like this. But what I heard, and then just the general thing of God. He uses our bad thing. All things work to the good. But a lot of times what we go through is for somebody else. So I just hope that y'all keep going and tag team for it, because y'all testimony was great. All right, y'all, we gonna hope we got on here late and Reggie go to bed early, because I'm starting to feel it like, oh man. My boy Austin didn't go to bed early like me. He didn't got off already. Austin was like, Austin said, man, I really needed this. This was good.
Practice being consistent.
Yeah, he said he really needed this. He said wives are still mean. Austin said, what is meant to be, we are meant to overcome. Our relationships are not just for us. We have to go through to be able to help others. That's what I just said. And you know what I mean? So Kev said I need to have all us on who was on Real Talk to Couples. We do need to do that, because I think that'll be a powwow. But man, I want to thank y'all for coming on and sharing, man. I ain't know your wife was this deep. I ain't never met her, so man, she might be trumping you. Just take it how it is, Rodney. She might be trumping you right
I'm
now.
good with,
She
hey man,
can't
I'm,
do.
trust me, one thing I am is my wife's biggest supporter, no
Yes.
matter what it is.
That's a
Yes.
good thing you said too. That's a good thing you said, and that's how I try to be with my wife. Because you can't win competing with your better half or your spouse.
Not at all.
We a team, and it took us a while
Even,
to get
even
there
when
too.
you
So.
win, you lose. Yeah.
Amen.
So,
Amen. All right, good people, man. I want to thank y'all for joining Real Talk with the Foremans, man. We had some more glitches again, but boy, we made it through, and I know that this was a good interview. Some good things to take away, and I thank y'all for coming out. The Glover family. Anything you want to close with, Miss Foreman?
We just appreciate you guys for being our guests tonight. I don't think it'll be the last time, but we were very well informed. Well informed. Thank you again.
How many? I'm sorry. How many people can you have on here, Rodney?
12.
Okay, because I think I will take Kevin up on it at the right time. We had Chef and his wife, Kevin his wife. We had the Greens. We got a couple of couples, and I think it will be powerful. So we'll work that up with you at the right time, man. But we probably have to use your platform or Chef's, whoever one, because y'all have it. But I think that will be good to have all the couples on, because more than just the audience, man, we teaching each other every day in our own marriage. And I've learned what you pouring out.
So if we're doing the couples in one screen, that means I can have 12 couples.
Okay, that's
so I can have 12 screens up there at once. So I can have 12 couples as a max.
Like each person, like together. Yeah, that'll be good. Because it's 12 screens. All right. And that's enough. So, all right, good people. We signing out. Real Talk with the Foremans. We'll let y'all know when we back on. Bye-bye.
All right.
Have a good night.
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
All right.